Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Showcase on Dark Souls 3. So, the Scimitar. It's a fairly basic weapon, used in Middle Eastern countries back in the day. But, what does it do in Dark Souls? Well, that could be a long list of things, what it is and isn't. But I'm here to answer, how good is it? Well, the Scimitar is the very basic of the curved swords. It's the very first one you'll probably get. It's probably the weakest. I should have done it sooner, but I don't roll like that. I do things in a random order. Why? Oh no. I get to sense it out myself. Anyhow, the description of the Scimitar reads: small curved sword that excels in swift movements and consecutive attacks. The Scimitar's flesh-rendering slashes are greatly compromised by the effects of armor and tough scales in covered hides. Ugh. So I said that right, but still came out wrong in my opinion. The skill is the spin slash. Slashing that flows a large spinning motion and follows with a strong attack and strong vertical slash. Now, visually, the Scimitar itself is pretty close, I'd say it's somewhere between close and not close to the actual visual representation of a proper Scimitar, as I got shown here. It's not really that much of a curve. The Scimitar was used by the Persians all the way up to the Ottoman Empire in World War I until they were wiped out. Now we're not talking about World War I. The Scimitar was used on horseback. Since it has nice that heavy curve in it, you can slice your opponents without your blade getting stuck in them. It's good at beheading. So yes. Foot, it had dramatically less firepower, or slashing power, but it was still an effective weapon, however, though it took a large heavy slash to do any proper damage compared to a long sword could do on foot. But still, it is somewhat close. You do got the gentle curve, but not nearly enough as an actual Scimitar. Looking at the stats of the Scimitar, physically it's slightly below average. That's fine because it's going to make it up in DPS, or so it claims. The bonus damage is half of that of the physical, which is fine. That's to be expected. On the tribute bonus, you got an E for strength and a C for dexterity, so already we got a C, which is good. For tribute requirements, I got 7 for strength and 13 for dexterity, so clearly a dexterity weapon, no surprise there. And for the special move, the Spin Slash, cost 4 FP to start and then 12 FP for the follow-up strong attack. And the weight is 2.5. So overall, it's the very first curved sword, so this all makes sense. It all pretty much levels out. And all will be scored accordingly to it being the first curved weapon. For the animations for the Scimitar, it is the very first weapon to use the curved sword set. So you have the very basic attack, very rapid swings. Power attack's a very fancy spin slash, though it's more vertical. Now, two-handed version, you got a very heavier slash. So it's still very rapid though. And power attack, you got a very more fancy version of that vertical attack, even more fancy. Now the rolling attack, for the light attack, it's pretty much a really rapid slash. For the power attack version of the rolling attack, you get a very heavy slash. And on the left hand, there is something unique. The basic attack that you normally block is a normal attack, and the power attack is a parry. Now, Spin Slash. Nothing really wowing here that we already don't know, but still fancy enough to see. And the sprint attack's a quick slash. Also, when equipping with two hands, it does change your kick animation. Only two-handed though. Now, when upgrading the Scimitar, it is upgraded with Plain Night Shards, which is expected. Now you can see off the first upgrade, the attribute bonus goes from a C to B for dexterity. That was unexpected when I picked up this weapon. For a starter weapon, you don't expect a tribute bonus going to B. We can see going up there, that tribute bonus is catching up quick. And the final upgrade, it's quite close actually. You actually get quite a bit of bonus damage out of this now. Mind you, it's not a huge amount, but it's actually close, and we can see even the next upgrade, it'll go to an A for dexterity. Like, that's surprising with a beginner weapon, in terms of a category of weapons. So, performance for this weapon, well, I gotta rely on the DPS, and it said it was hampered by armor, so we'll see about that. Let's see how much in truly it isn't hampered. Let's see. Basic attack is 120, which isn't that great, but still DPS. Now, let's get a backstab in. Right about... Oh, come on. This is, of course, the best shot I can get. There we go. Ooh, 315. That is bad. That is about roughly 120 worse than most other weapons in terms of backstab damage. Against level foes without armor, it fares just fine. I wouldn't say amazing, but it's just fine. Remember, it is still a starter weapon. Okay, I doubt we can go through a shield, but we shall try. And there's the... Okay, it doesn't immediately bounce off. Okay, so can go through a shield with repetition, with the special attack, the Spin Slash. Not an ideal way to get through a shield, but it can work. Against the Gorgile, I'm not going to try going through the shield, I'm just going to try and kill it as quick as possible, using the DPS of the weapon. But I do amazingly very little damage on each swing. I think it was only 60 damage. Like, that's bad. Even worse with my special, I do 30. Ugh, I just do normal attacks, normal heavy attacks. At least I do near 100 with that. This weapon fared very, very poorly against our Gorgile. So many other better weapons to take. Ugh, but oh well. Now onto the Black Knight. Black Knight's swift and agile, so the DPS of the Scimitar will be kind of null and void here. And since he's wearing all that armor, he's probably got damage resistance, isn't he? Yep, not even 300 damage from a backstab. That's better than the... Actually, no, it's slightly worse than the Cathedral Knights. But yes, in terms of weapons, the Scimitar doesn't really fare too well against a lot of enemies. It is a beginner weapon, and it's quickly outclassed by so many other weapons, and enemies, to be honest. Too many enemies wear armor in the end game, though. Alright, let's move on to pros and cons of the Scimitar. On the pro side, it's got good DPS. It's also a fairly nimble blade. And it can be parried if used in offhand, providing you want to use it there. So in short, that's mostly functional, I guess. Okay, that's it for pros. On the con side, its damage is pretty low. It is heavily impacted by armor and stone, whatever you want to constitute as armor. And in terms of viability, it's not a very good weapon for endgame. I'll put that as a con because it's kind of obvious. Alright, now going to the score for the Scimitar. Damage gets a 5 out of 10. At least DPS kept it to an average degree. Even against unarmed enemies, you had to do multiple hits. Reach is a 5 out of 10. It's no longer shorter than a longsword. Animation though, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It is the first weapon of its category, so it's not penalized, and has extra animations that other short or curved swords do not have. Which is nice. So you got the kick animation, you got the parry, you got quite a few in there. Bonus gets a 6 out of 10. For a starter weapon, that's a pretty good bonus. It would be better if the weapon was more powerful, but it is what it is. Misc, a 5 out of 10. It loses points on being not historically accurate looking. However, it does make up for it with its multifunctionality, I believe, putting it at a basic 5. So in total, the Scimitar gets 28 out of 50, which is good. For a starter weapon, it's good. It doesn't exactly fail you, which is good, because all other Scimitar or other curved swords gotta be compared to this, which most of them surpass it. Not all of them, though. So there we go. A mildly worth it weapon for this curved sword category. Mind you, curved swords, from what I noticed in being invaded and participating in a few fight clubs, they're not very popular. Unless you get to the large curved sword variety, then that changes a little bit. But still, they have a place in some people's hearts. I find them I find them real neat in real life, but in Dark Souls, I don't really wowed by them. But that's my opinion. What's yours? Anyway, that's been Showcase for today. I'd like to thank everyone here for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care out there.